go by in the blink of an eye. Time flies, but you don't know why. Stand still, stuck and play, falling behind the human race. No way out, no escape, falling away, about to be fed into the machine. You wanna wake up, you wanna scream, you wanna pretend that this is only a dream. It's only a dream. If only it were only a dream. Get up, it's a setup. Get out of bed, get up. It's a setup. Lying there being misled. Shut up, or you'll get cut up and wind up dead. Lying in a ditch, bleeding from a hole in the back of your head. As the darkness takes you, your will to live, it makes you wake up. Open up your eyes. Don't be surprised at what you find. Life's too short, just open up your eyes. See the truth, don't be blind. And you will you'll find your way back home. Days go by in the blink of an eye. Time flies, but you don't know why. Stand still, stuck and play, falling behind the human race. No way out, no escape, caught in a web, about to be fed into the machine. Why is it better to be believing that the black you're leaving, the one you left behind, the dead won't be grind? There was always fucking with your mind, always trying to find the time to right the ship, to crack the whip. Made it to come to rest when all the shit spinning round in your head. Because when it's all done and said, we will all wind up dead. Wake up, open up your eyes, and in the blink of an eye, if you dare try, there can be no doubt, it's your only way out. Fly on your own, and you'll find your way back home. Days go by in the blink of an eye. Time flies, but you don't know why. Stand still, stuck and play, falling behind the human race. No way out, no escape, caught in a web, about to be fed into the machine. All right. Welcome to Operation End Times. I'm your Jedi warrior for Jesus, Ben Ellisted. If this is your first time here to the channel, hey, God bless you. God bless all my brothers and sisters out there. You know, we are living in the most amazing times, my friends. Today is April 14th, 2013, here in San Jose, California. We're having a second awesome day of just unbelievably nice weather.
you know. The sun is just out there shining like you cannot imagine. You know, I don't know if you could see my shirt here. I'll remove my beard. See? The Bourne Identity. That's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about today, is the Bourne Identity. But what you were just watching was a scene from The Matrix, where Neo is battling Morpheus, and Morpheus is showing him that he has to learn how to go beyond the limitations of the Matrix, you know, to not lock himself in, you know, to a box or a labyrinth that keeps him bound up to the limitations of the program itself, you know. And in that scene there, he started unleashing it, because he started going super fast, you know, in his kung fu maneuvers. And that's kind of like the other part of what I'm going to talk about today, is Into the Machine. And that's what you were listening to, is a song that I kind of put together, you know, I think like 2 years ago. And I apologize if you don't like that music and you don't like my singing. But seriously, if you just listen to the lyrics that were put in there, like when I made those songs, I made a couple of songs about 2 years ago, the Spirit was kind of pouring into me. And, you know, there's a verse in that song where it says, "And as the darkness takes you, your will to live, it makes you wake up." And that's a little bit of what I'm going to continue to talk about today, because my video yesterday was Winter, Wonder, Lust. And it was talking about lust in the Bible, and how literally that's what happened in Genesis 2 when God breathed the breath of life into man. He put lust into man, the soul into man. That is who man is, you know. And, you know, a lot of people might think that's kind of crazy, but if you think about it, the number one thing that you should lust for is to live. Lust to live. And, you know, I know this is a truth, because, you know what, I know I have a lust for living, you know, and you know, this is my testimony. I will testify to this to whoever wants to hear, but, you know, I've been brought to the edge of my destruction. I have looked into the abyss. I have seen death hovering right above me, and, you know, Jesus was right there, and he asked me a question. He said, "Do you want to live?" And you know what? My will to live, my lust to live, you know, who I am, said, yes, I want to live. And that is the first truth we must all come to a realization of, is that we want to live. Because if you're lusting to live and you're seeking the truth of how do I continue living, there's only one answer. There's only one way, and that is through God, through Jesus Christ. You know, the way, the truth, and the life. And the amazing thing, you know, the just mind-blowing, crazy, awesome, overwhelming thing about that realization is that it's, you know, even though they call it the straight and narrow, it's actually an easy path in a way, because, you know, Jesus is the coolest guy, and if you want to be like Jesus, you'll be an amazingly cool person, you know. You know, because you'll be walking in truth and in love. But, you know, the world is a crazy place, and, you know, the truth is, you know, if we have a will to live, and we're saying, how can I live? The answer would be through Christ Jesus and through God, because God brings all life, you know. Jesus Christ, he's the perfect Son of God. He's the perfect manifestation of God on earth. He's the architect and creator of everything, you know. He is the temple of God. We are the temple of God, you know. And, you know, God, you could describe him in a million different ways, you know, but a couple of the words we always use is just God is all powerful, you know, almighty, you know, and the truth is if you're walking the straight and narrow, if you've been connected to God through Jesus Christ, you're part of the conduit of God, the spirit and energy and power and manifestation of the kingdom of God. You know, the finger of God, the hand of God. And, you know, Jesus, you know, he's the man from Galilee, you know, the Sea of Galilee. And, you know, Galilee literally means conduit, the flow of the River Jordan, you know, of water, living water. But that's what we end up being, you know, in these end times. You know, we want to be conduits of God's glory and power. And we want to be vessels of his water, you know, the spirit of love, truth. And, you know, if we're part of that conduit, you know, then we're tapping into God's energy, you know, and we're walking around, you know, because we're trusting in God to give us everything we need, you know. And that's where I'm going to flip the switch, because, you know, when you look at our money, you know, it says in God we trust, and it's just like, it's where it's like the water line where this distortion, you know, is, because in God we trust is the truth. But, you know, most people, you know, they say they trust in God, and yet, you know, if you ask them, can you live without money? They say no. You know, and if you believe in God, you can live without money, you know. That's a truth. And that's why I flip in the switch, you know, it's like light and dark. And, you know, if you're not part of God's kingdom, you know, the born identity, you know, because we're born again into Christ. But guess what? On the dark side, in the shadows, you know, they're trying to birth something too. There's a man, they're trying to be born, you know, again, into the machine. And that's kind of, you know, what's on the dark side is, you know, Satan and whatever other powers and principalities are over there. They don't have, even though we call them powers, they don't have much power. You know, seriously, they're disconnected from God, the energy of God. So they're trying to suck, sap, and tap into other people's powers, and they want to control all of the energy, you know, which is kind of like where the Matrix comes in, because, you know, Nemo, you know, when he wakes up, he's in a pod, man, being sucked, and there's millions of people, they're all just dreaming that they're in some kind of a reality, the Matrix, but they're actually sucked in a pod, being sucked by a bunch of machines to run the real world, which is just hell on earth, you know. And that's a little bit what I wanted to talk about, you know, is the good lust is the lust for life. Because if you're lusting to live, you will have to be on a search for the truth of how you can live. And if you actually find the truth, you will find God and find Jesus Christ. But there'll be plenty of other people out there that will tell you a lie and a deception, saying, hey, you know what, I will satisfy your will to live, and here's how you do it. And they'll usually send you down a dark path, you know, without you even knowing it, because they'll be telling you, like, here's what you got to do, you know, become, you know, a god yourself, you know, if you eat right, do this, do that, you'll live forever, you know. But I'll tell you, my friends, there's only one way for eternal life, and that's through God. But on the dark side, the born identity, it's the machine. And that's what that song this morning was talking, that I played at the intro, you know, Into the Machine, was talking about how, you know, those of us that are coming out of Babylon, we're trying to disconnect ourselves from the machine. And that's a little bit of what I touched on, you know, in my video yesterday, Winter Wanderlust, you know, because, you know, one of the things the Bible talks about is lusting for meat, lusting for women, lusting for sex, lusting for power, lusting for money, wealth. And I played a scene from The Matrix which showed the dude eating the steak. But what I was trying to kind of clarify is there's a lot of guilt and cruelty. The machine is all about cruelty, you know, because it's a machine. It doesn't care, you know. But what you can't do is just completely pin the guilt on all the end users, those people who eat and are tied into the machine like Nemo was before he woke up. And you can try and wake him up. But see, the guilt itself is just a big negative trip. It helps feed the machine, you know, so that's why I say don't do it. You know, just wake people up, but don't put them on a big guilt trip, you know. And if the end need of somebody is that they need to put a piece of meat in their mouth or clothe themselves or use something, technology or a phone, that doesn't make them immediately an evil, bad person that has to beg for forgiveness because they're part of some dark, evil, nefarious monster machine. But I do believe there are people that are responsible for the machine. And I do believe Satan is kind of one of them, because his power has been cut tremendously. So that's one of the things he has in his pocket is technology, and that's one of the things that's coming into play, because look at how man has advanced just in the last 100 years. Somebody's bringing on the technology in a fast, powerful way, and I think not for God's will, not for the kingdom, but for their own lust. So I drew a little diagram. We love these pictures. This is the machine, okay? And it's hooked up to you. And what I'm just showing right here is there's a bridge. It's all these wires that connect you up to the machine. It's your needs, your lusts, what you desire. And what the machine will tell you is that you can't live without the things that the machine provides. And it kind of sells you on that if you're connected up, you'll get what you want, which is happiness, liberty, safety, and security. But that's all kind of a lie, because they can't really provide any of that. Now, the machine, if you look at the machine, the head of the machine is the principalities in high places, or as I would call them, the princes in their palaces. And you know what? They come from all different spectrums of the material world. They could be humans, they could be hybrids, they could be fallen angels. They're fallen, I'll tell you. And the Illuminati, people who think they are illuminated, but they're just not walking on God's side. They're following their own lusts and desires for power and wealth and fame and glory. But look at the machine, there's wires, there's the arms that grab you, healthcare and the military, police, safety and security. It's all things where it's tentacles reaching out, grabbing people. But the machine is made up of all sorts of stuff. It's the the world system. It's technology, it's communications, it's commodities, energy, it's banking, it's food, energy, it's consumer goods, it's housing, it's religion. So, you know what, my friends? You could make a decision, like I kind of wrote on the line over here, meat. So you could say, I'm not going to eat meat, so I'm not going to support the cruelty of the meat industry, and that's fine. God bless you, that you're trying to disconnect some of these wires. But if you look, the boots of the machine over here, get my hand out of the way. The boots of the machine are the process chain, where you need an ID number. Some people think that's like the mark of the beast, and that's kind of coming. It's a barcode, a chip, and then the shoes are how they stomp on us. The process allows them to manipulate the corruption to seep in from all levels, because they tell us we all have to have jobs, and we have to, a job is supporting the machine. And the other boot is the machine ultimately becomes a monopoly, whether it's banking or farming or meat production, and they also control the money. So with all the phony money they're printing, it's actually monopoly money through building monopolies, crushing the competition, and controlling the money. And the shorts, the pants are schools and education, sports and entertainment, where they just slash into our jelly-like minds and start controlling our thoughts and programming the lusts of our eyes, making us believe these are the things that we need, and the only place that we can get them from is the machine. And that, my friends, is the other born identity. There's an old man. Everybody can look back. Both sides, dark and light. Look back and say, look at that old guy. He's got to go. The old guy, fallen, walking in darkness. The new guy, even Jesus said, be born again. So he wants you to become a new person. So the dark side's saying, yeah, be born, become a new person. They're going to do it through technology, will make you better. And they're literally manipulating DNA of both humans, animals, food, and they're screwing it all up. Because I tell you what, Jesus is the master architect and creator, and he made everything perfect the way it was. So, but the machine, they'll lie to you and they'll say, oh, we're building a better society, a better world, and if you stick with us and just do as we say, you will get happiness, liberty. But remember I told you, the number one lust, which is who you are, your soul, should be the desire, the passion to live. And the machine will lie to you and tell you, hey, this is living, and they'll paint a picture, white picket fence, 401k, retirement fund, job, 9 to 5, whatever. But I'll tell you what, it's not living. It's part of the illusion, because if you say, what happens after I die? Well, dying is on one level, a physical manifestation, a carnal level. But if you truly know anything about living, life goes beyond death, So what you want to do is expand your eyesight, and you wake up like Nemo and you realize that you're just in a pod being used by the machine for energy and for their nefarious purposes. And that's kind of where we're at, my friends. Some of us are waking up to the reality, and it's kind of lust is the energy, because lust is an emotion. Emotions are pure energy, thought is energy. The dark side, they like those emotions of darkness, hate, fear, bitterness, resentment, whatever. The light is love, and it's like a switch. Now, one thing I'll kind of throw out there is going off on a little bit of a tangent, but it is the times we're living in. I like the diagram one of the ones shows, where he shows the line, which is the orbit of the sun, which is actually a perfect line, but because the earth wobbles when we view the sun, it looks like it's wobbling, the sun's wobbling, and it forms like a snake in the sky, the serpent. And, that's kind of like the polarities of dark and light, and that's what makes up the zodiac and all that kind of good stuff. And it talks about how, Jesus says, rather you be, hot or cold, okay? Because you're better off. Cold means you never have seen the light, so you have a tremendous amount of mercy and grace falling on you. Hot means you've seen the light, love and truth, you burn for the truth. And if you become lukewarm, that means you're trying to dilute the truth with darkness, and therefore you're going into the shadows, and that's what gets vomited up, and that's a little bit of what's in play here is the hot and cold polarities. And I said in my video the other day, it's a time of lions and wolves. And you know what, the lions and the wolves, they're above the waterline in the hot. Lions are devourers. They devour you, and they're full of pride. And they can be dangerous people because they appear to be good in a lot of ways, but they're actually following some kind of shadow path if they're letting their pride get the better of them, their lust for power and glory. They're letting lust be their bridle and lead them, into the shadows, into the darkness, because humbleness and love should always be your banners in truth. So lions can be dangerous, and then there's the wolves, that run around in packs, and they like to hide and distort who they are, wolf in sheep's clothing, and they're in the light, but underneath they're dark, so they try and appear good as well, but they're a little more subtle, and they like to operate in the shadows and stay more hidden, whereas the lions, they'll come right out in the light, everyone will see them because they create, a lot of destruction themselves. So, just keep that in mind, because, that's a little bit of what's in play, because lust plays into that. Lust is the emotional darkness that fills up both a wolf and a lion that leads them into the shadows. Because lust, the only lust you really need is the lust for life, saying, I want to live, because then you'll say, how do I live? And it will lead you to the truth. So there's a fine line for lust, but all other lust is pretty much leaving you in the dust. Lust will leave you in the dust. So remember that, my friends. stay on the path. Hey, I want to say hi to the Vital Truth, my sister Patty, and her hubby Ron. She sent me an email this morning, so hey, I'm doing fine, sister. I'm eating cactus. I think that stuff's working, man. It's another little miracle I'm going to talk about. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with more of another song that I made, and kind of rock you out of this place. Hey, just God bless you all. This song is called "The Day Is Coming." It's really dark, man. I made it about 2 years ago, and it's apocalyptic, but I found a video that kind of plays along with it, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. Yeah, it's called "God Is Calling." So here, I'm going to get it rolling and set up the video. Check this out, man.
Coming, there'll be no use running, no